Y'all, let's give it up for our next performer. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Colleen Brown.
Hi everyone. Hi. I'm Colleen, and I'm from Manassas, Virginia, which is just about as southern as it sounds. The town's known for the first battle of the Civil War, and it's also where John Wayne Bobbitt's penis was removed in the 1990s. It has an illustrious history of amputated limbs and fields. And coming from a town that has like such a rich history, which is a really sugar-coated way of saying like a shitload of people died here, I didn't realize that I had any feelings whatsoever about historical reenactors. Until I moved here, and there are none. And I was on a date with this guy recently, and he had some like snide comment about Colonial Williamsburg, and I got incredibly defensive. Where I was like, all right, like I'm pretty sure Ben Franklin got more ass than anyone in your late fucking bank ever tried. And I don't know any historical reenactors personally. I guess the closest I got was my best friend back home was dating this girl, and he was like, hey, do you want to hang out? And she was like, nah, I can't, I'm seeing my father off to war, which isn't super uncommon where I'm from. Like, we're right by the Pentagon and a bunch of military bases, and he was like, yeah, that sucks, like, where's your dad being deployed to? And she said, the Battle of Gettysburg. Which ended over 150 years ago. And it was worse because it wasn't one of those things where it was like, we're just doing it to support your father, you know, like it makes him happy, like go along with it. Like the whole family had antebellum gowns they would put on to wave goodbye to their papa. And just imagine that guy like getting into his Toyota Camry, full Union blues with like a musket riding shotgun as he listens to like Led Zeppelin through the car stereo. Like, I'll tell General Grant you said hello, ladies. And it is kind of weird that like a Civil War is this tragedy that like people just can't get enough of recreating. Like, we don't do that with other horrific world events. Like, not like, oh, like me and the gals are gonna get dressed up, go downtown, pretend to die of Spanish influenza, so if you need me. I guess we really don't have to pretend because like the anti-vaxxers are just gonna do it for us anyway. I'm keeping the historical reenactor thing in my back pocket as like a backup career. Because a lot of people have like celebrity doppelgangers, like they look just like a celebrity, where I look just like a sad colonial woman. And you might not see it right now, but if you go home tonight and you Google image search colonial woman portrait, you'll be like, oh my God, that's where I recognize her. Any slightly depressing painting I've seen from the 1690s, that's her. And I think it's like the fair skin and the rosy cheeks and like the just complete look of exhaustion from having to deal with men all day. I do think that dating was probably easier in colonial times. Because they tell you like there's so many fish in the sea, but it's 2019 and the ocean is literally full of garbage. Not unlike a naive raccoon, just can't keep my little head out of the dumpster fire. That is dating. When anybody leaves me alone for longer than the length of a Lizzo song, I'm just right back out there. And they'll be like, do something less toxic, you trash panda. And I'm like, I can't. I'm biologically attracted to this garbage. It's late at night, I'm kind of bored, it texted me you up. I like to imagine that like raccoons have their own dating app, like with a cute name, like something like Rummage. And they're just like swippity swiping with their little paws for validation like the rest of us. Just like, oh, that badger's cute. Oh, but he's into hiking, gross, I'll never work. And I bet their first dates, they like go dig around in the bins behind a Taco Bell and then like drink the abandoned 40s in the Chicago streets, see where the night like takes them. It's actually like how I'm meeting most guys right now. Do you think like if you're a raccoon, like a guy doesn't ghost you, he just plays possum? I was actually ghosted recently, which is a blast. And I don't know how familiar you are with the practice, but it kind of feels like if you had a pet dog, definitely a dog, like not a raccoon, she would never pull this, and like the dog takes a shit in the middle of the living room and then hides behind a couch. And like you both know who took a shit in the middle of the living room, and you can totally see the dog behind the couch. But it truly believes if it just like closes its eyes tight enough, not only is it invisible, but its actions have no consequences. Only in this scenario, it's not a dog, it's a fully grown man you're romantically involved with. And like I think the biggest problem I have with ghosting is the name ghosting. Because again, I don't know how much like you guys know about ghosts. I would consider myself an expert for watching hours, if not days, with shows named stuff like Paranormal Hellscape, or like Phantom Escapades, or like Law and Order Demonic Possession, you know, shit like that. And this is literally the exact opposite problem anyone living in a haunted house has. Like, ghosts are not leaving your text messages on read. Those fuckers are everywhere. You never see a dramatic like aside to the camera on one of those shows where a woman's like, I don't know, the ghost just took me on like a really nice date, and then I never heard from him again. Like they're just showing up in your house in the middle of the night. They're leaving cryptic messages in your room. They're choking you in your sleep. Like all welcome steps up in a relationship from like where I am right now. And I'm going to be getting out of here on this, but I think what I wanted to say is that Jebediah, the spirit orb that lives in my spare bedroom, would treat me better than like most alive and well men. He might just be a cold spot, but he's from the 1860s and he has manners. Now that I think about it, there might just be a historical reenactor squatting in my apartment. I just think we owe it to ourselves to give it a name that's like more representative of what it is, something like dating a man in his 20s. I'm Colleen Brown, thank you so